Hey everybody, thank you for clicking on this video. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is LaShonda. If you're returning, thank you so much. I appreciate you checking out my other videos. In this video, I am coming on to talk about unconditional love. And I've said this on other videos. I'm just talking. This is coming off the cuff, off the rip. I'm not a scripted person. I don't even live life scripted. So that's just a disclaimer. So if I get to rambling, I'll usually bring it back. And I probably will disclaimer most of my videos like this because I'm a talker. But I wanted to talk about unconditional love, and I really wanted to hit a couple of major points. And so the first point that I wanted to talk about is, one, what is the concept of unconditional love, and is it possible? Is it something that can be achieved? And I'm going to be the first to tell you that yes, it is. And I will also talk to you about how. So that's kind of where this video is going to go. The first thing I wanted to do is talk about what is unconditional love and why is unconditional love important. I'm not going to read the dictionary definition. I'm coming from the heart. Unconditional love is when you are able to genuinely love someone at their best or at their worst, no matter where they are on their path. It's one of those reasons why you see that meme going around saying that only women and children and pets get unconditional love. I don't think that's true, but it's why you see those memes going around, because people tend to have more empathy and compassion towards women and children and animals in general. So I understand the meme. I don't think it's the truth, but I understand it. And so I went through a period of time myself, actually, that I questioned if unconditional love really existed from other people. Honestly, because I knew it existed in me. But I was not seeing that displayed in my world towards me. And so I did question if unconditional love truly existed in other people. But one of the things that helped me with that again was knowing that this quality exists inside of me. So it has to exist inside of somebody else, even if not everyone. Somebody else knows how to display these qualities. So the first barrier to receiving unconditional love from others is not having it for yourself. And what this means is that when you unconditionally love yourself, you love yourself in all your greatness and with all your flaws. You love yourself no matter what the world thinks about you. You love yourself no matter what your own mind tries to tell yourself about you, or your own ego, or your own persona, whatever you want to call it. You love yourself regardless of what those aspects or the outside world is trying to tell you about yourself. the biggest barrier to receiving unconditional love from other people is not loving yourself unconditionally. Is being extremely too hard on yourself. Is not having empathy and compassion for yourself. And I learned this the hard way. I went through not believing that unconditional love existed in other people, because while I was unconditionally loving them, I was not unconditionally loving myself. I was super hard on myself. I was my own worst critic. In some ways, it benefited me because it pushed me to the level of growth that I'm at, but it was detrimental in a lot of ways. And so me learning to have the same empathy and compassion for myself was a huge turning point when it came to unconditional love. Because now I'm still unconditionally loving towards other people. That's never going to change because that is in my nature. I've been like that since I was a child. Even during times where I was being abused, I would try to understand things from my abuser's childhood point of view. Like, something in me always said, hey, they probably had this done to them when they was a kid, and that's just what they used to. It's not an excuse, but it was a way for me to rationalize it and continue to love these people. You know, I've had relatives in my biological family, and if you're not familiar with my story, please check out some of my other videos. Some of the very first videos that I posted actually talk a little bit about some of the things that I've gone through with my adopted family and everything like that. So definitely, if you don't have the full history, which nobody has the full history yet, but you know, there's a brief synopsis of my life already in other videos. But right now, I just trailed off onto that because it's a part of me healing that aspect of not receiving unconditional love from my parents. So I know that I've had this quality within me for a long time because I have forgiven people over and over again for the same abuses towards me. Now, that's where I was not unconditionally loving myself, because despite the fact that I was unconditionally loving them and forgiving them and constantly letting them come into my sacred space, so to speak, they were not reciprocating that energy, and I was continuing to allow them into my sacred space. And so that's where I was lacking the unconditional love for myself, because I was allowing them to come in and commit these abuses towards me. So I think another aspect of people, I won't say it's a barrier, but it goes back to what I was just talking about with allowing people to come in because of your unconditional love for them, allowing them to continue to come in. And now sometimes that can be codependency too. You know, I dealt with that as well. I dealt with codependency. So that can be codependency as well. But that codependency for me personally was not so much coming from a place of a need for validation, but a fear of abandonment. So that was something more so along those lines, which is why these relationships were hard for me to let go of, because I've gone through feeling abandoned and being abandoned. And so it was beyond me to want to make somebody else experience that, which is why I've had a lot of problems with letting certain toxic situations go, because of my own fears of rejection and abandonment. So I'd hold on to people simply because I did not want to hurt them by leaving them. So that's something that I had to overcome. But just because you have boundaries, is what I'm trying to say, does not mean that you don't have unconditional love for someone. And only someone who is serving their ego or their lower nature is going to overstep your boundaries and then make you believe that their boundaries are too much, or you know what I'm saying, like they didn't do it to begin with type of stuff. That's what they call gaslighting. So, you know, unconditional love means that you have the capacity to still love this person for who they are and keep them out of your vicinity. You can't change anyone else, but you do have control over your reality. So when people think that me walking away from my family is hateful or selfish or whatever the case may be, that's fine. I'm at peace. So therefore, people can do whatever the fuck they want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at a place in my life where I am not sacrificing my peace for a single solitary soul, okay? So that may mean isolation and loneliness, but I really don't care, because my nervous system has had enough in this lifetime, okay? But unconditional love just means that you understand cognitively that people do things, act a certain way, speak to you a certain way, talk about you a certain way because of their own internal wounds that they've yet to deal with. You don't internalize it and you keep it moving. I had to overcome the internalizing it part. I had to overcome that as well. But being someone who is hypersensitive, and I've been hypersensitive since I was a child, easily absorbing, I'm a sponge. Like, even intellectually, I'm a sponge. So easily absorbing the energies of other people. I had to take some time to myself in order to understand what is my energy and what is everybody else's, because I have not been able to do that. I have not been able to do that my entire life. Like, from childhood up until adulthood, it's been, up until now, it's been one traumatic incident after another, after another, after another. And people, the term siphoning my energy, like, legit, people siphoning my energy since I was a child. So I've been in isolation from everybody except my own child and my grandson for months. Going on a year. It'll be a year in a few months. It'll really be a year that I've just been in isolation, in about 3 or 4 months. And I've gotten to learn my own energy, and I've gotten to learn what affects me. And so I'm appreciative of that. But there's times where some of these people's stuff was rubbing off on me, and I was internalizing it. And so it's a slippery slope where you got people that you love, that, especially when you've experienced trauma, and if you genuinely love those people and you genuinely love them unconditionally, typically you will allow certain things from them. And I'm thankful that I've been blessed with discernment because now I can see straight through people. Like, I can see straight through the manipulation, the lies. You know, I've had this for a while. I kind of lost touch with it. But, you know, I've said for a long time, people can't lie to me. This is not really nothing new, because I read people like books. You can tell me something, that don't necessarily mean I'm gonna believe you. But I recently just had to love myself enough not to doubt my intuition, knowing that it's as strong as hell. So, I'm gonna wrap this video up because I don't want be wanting to make my videos too long. In the situation that I'm in right now, I'm really just having to make everything very concise because of my internet situation. So, I'm gonna wrap this video up. But in conclusion, I just wanted to say that unconditional love is out there. Unconditional love starts with unconditionally loving yourself enough to change what you don't like, if that's the case, loving yourself to know your weaknesses and your strengths, loving yourself enough to walk away from shit that don't serve you. When you do that, you will experience unconditional love coming in from the outside, because now you're gonna still get people that try to, them that people is out there, they gonna come for you. But when you truly do love yourself unconditionally, again, that adage, as within, so without, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. So when you have that love for yourself, it projects outwards and it will come back to you. And as long as you are keeping your boundaries strong and loving yourself, you can experience unconditional love. That is what, as a collective, we are moving towards, universal love. And I'm here for it. I've been waiting my whole life for shit like this. So if you made it this far in the video, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos. If you have any subjects you want me to talk about, drop it in the comments. I'm open to talk about just about anything, YouTube willing. So, thanks again. I love y'all. I hope y'all have a great week.